Hello everyone, welcome to our podcast where transformation truly begins. Step into the extraordinary world of Tong Ren, a revolutionary distance healing technique that's breaking barriers and uniting an international community of hope and healing. Whether you're seeking profound relief, a spark of renewal, or a deeper, more meaningful connection to your healing journey, you're in the perfect place to begin. Here we'll share life-changing testimonials, actionable insights, and inspiring stories to empower and uplift your Tong Ren practice and experience. This is your space to grow, to heal, and to discover the limitless potential within you. Take a deep breath, open your heart, and let's embark on this incredible journey of transformation together. Hello everyone, and welcome to our Tong Ren podcast, episode 9, Healing Carpal Tunnel Naturally, Evidence-Based Relief Methods. So many of us have had wrist issues or wrist pain, and maybe didn't even know what it was about or what caused it. A lot of times in our modern world, we sit for hours at the computer, and our wrist is not always at the optimal angle. This can cause stress on the wrist. This can cause pain. And ultimately, some people end up getting surgery. And why is that? It's because of an area in the actual wrist called the carpal tunnel. There's a bone called the carpal bone that has a hole that has a nerve running through it called the median nerve. And what happens is this single nerve going from our arm to our wrist gets impacted, or because of inflammation, becomes inflamed. Therefore, we can't move our hands without intense pain. So, some of the medical strategies are to literally do surgery and open up that bone to allow that nerve to go through. And that's very dangerous because the nerve could be injured. It's always a bad idea to break our bones unnaturally. So if we look at the cause of the cause, that is inflammation. And inflammation oftentimes deals with nutrition, but in this case, it deals very specifically with a nerve. So it's a nerve going through the bones, and the nerves are inflamed. So we want to focus on the cause of that inflammation. One time I had a patient that had neuropathy in their hands, similar to carpal tunnel as well, and I didn't work on their wrists, I work on their shoulders, because that's where the issue begins. In the nerve plexus, in the actual shoulders themselves. And that creates inflammation all the way down to the wrist with exceedingly deleterious impacts from repetitive motion. So from the shoulders to the wrist, opening that area up completely would really help to relieve carpal tunnel syndrome. So we don't want to do any cutting or breaking. We want to reduce inflammation and enable the nerve itself to be better, healthy, positioned to allow the nerve to go through, just like that. So, the symptoms are oftentimes pain, especially when you're bending your wrist. So, if you're sitting at the computer, try to have your wrist at a straight angle. A good tip is to, instead of using a mouse, which is constant repetitive motion, I would recommend to use a trackball, which is where you only use your thumb and the hand can be put into a really good position. The impact of this on people is that they can't use their hands. Sometimes they use braces. They can't work on a computer. In our modern world, not working on the computer is not an option. We all work on the computer, sometimes 5 or 10 hours every single day. So our goal, as I said, is to open up the flow of the nerve, the median nerve that goes through the wrist, a very specific bone, the carpal tunnel, the carpal bone itself that has a hole called the carpal tunnel. From a healing perspective, there are many things you can do. Number one, I would always recommend first to use things that accelerate circulation and accelerate reducing inflammation in the area. So that would be castor oil. And I've had good results even with people with early signs of carpal tunnel as musicians. So what they would do is they put castor oil on their wrist so that it would start to reduce inflammation and allow that nerve, the median nerve, to go freely through that area for our hands. And I put it over the whole hand because the resulting areas of the whole hands would be impacted. But that helped tremendously with that person, a piano player, that worked on their wrist just with castor oil. If it's a more serious issue, I would use other things such as massage in 2 places. One is in the shoulder and one gently in the wrist itself. So tuina massage would be a good goal to allow that area to go freely from the shoulder, the source of those nerves, which is the brachial plexus of the shoulders, going down to the wrist. From a Tong Ren perspective, this is also the target. We would work on the shoulders and on the wrist itself to lead the chi, lead the flow, and to remove bioelectrical blockages. So to begin, we would work on the brachial plexus, the area of, say, C6 and C7, T1, T2, right on the shoulder level area. That would enhance the nerve flow from the neck. And then in addition to that, we know from our training with Tong Ren, as we've trained people all over the world, we want to focus on blood flow and nerve flow. So the blood flow would be to work on the entire shoulder area, as we can do from massage and from Tong Ren, because the blood flow will support the nerves. That will support reducing inflammation and nerve flow from the shoulders to the elbow, to the wrist, and then eventually to all the hands. So, like I say, some of the symptoms are numbness and tingling in the actual hands because there is a constriction in the actual nerve flow to the arms. So from, again, a Tong Ren perspective, the brachial plexus of the arms, I would work then on the shoulder, the ouch points of the shoulder, and the area of lung 1, lung 2, which can support the shoulder from the front and the back to continue to allow that nerve flow down the elbow. Then I would go to the elbow itself, working on all sides to make sure there is no constriction there. That's also a technique you can use for tennis elbow or golfer's elbow, which has a similar issue, swollen nerves and tissues from repetitive motion. So imagine you're typing tens of thousands of words every single day, and your wrist is moving and your hand is going back and forth. That is the ultimate in repetitive motion conditions, which will create inflammation. So step 1, castor oil. Step 2, Tong Ren or tuina massage. Step 3, systemic inflammation, as we say, from plant-based nutrition and herbs to reduce inflammation from the entire body. So that's what we would want to do. And step 4 would be ergonomics. So what we want to do ergonomically, we focus on having our hand in a perfect position, and we make sure that we don't have to move our hands anymore by using something called a trackball, which is like an upside down mouse. Therefore, you only move your thumbs, but you're sitting in the best position available. Step 5, anti-inflammation, is also grounding. At my desk, right at this moment, I have a grounding mat. What that means is, ideally, take off your shoes with your feet on the mat, you are grounded. This increases a flow of electrons in the body. It's a natural antioxidant. So what that means is you are proactively reducing inflammation with your feet grounded to the earth. So that is another way to go. That you can do all day long while at the computer. So these are specific things you can do proactively. And lastly, systemically, one of the things you can do is what we call quantum biology. The best thing you can do for your body is to give it a reset. We want to reset the nerves, We want to reset the endocrine system or the hormones. And we want to increase body charge. This is a consistent theme through all of our recommendations. If we get sunlight, it increases charge. Tong Ren deals with charge. Bioelectrical blockages opening deals with charge. Grounding deals with charging the body and reducing inflammation and creating a circuit. And so does sunlight. It activates the body battery, which is the 70% water, easy water zone of our entire bodies. And therefore, if you do that explicitly on your wrist at sunrise or other times, it will increase something called easy water, which increases the charge, which reduces inflammation, and that alone, again, will support the flow, the nerve flow, and the actual nerve release and liberation at the actual carpal tunnel juncture, the place that the nerve goes through on the wrist. So those are the techniques that you can do even while sitting at the computer. Put on some castor oil, do some grounding, but above all, do some Tong Ren, because that can enhance, open a blockage at the main areas, which are the brachial plexus, C6, C7, T1, T2. Step 1, right there. You can reduce inflammation, T1 to T8. So you want to do a systemic approach to healing with Tong Ren and supporting therapies. Number 3, the ouch points, or the leading to the ouch point areas, from the shoulder to the elbow to the wrist, and then tap on the wrist itself. On the doll, on the wrist itself, I should say. And then you want to open up the area of the blockages of that area. Additionally, from a Tong Ren perspective, you can focus the laser on the wrist of the doll as well. That will reduce inflammation, just as any red light therapy would do. The sun is red light therapy. Red light therapy devices can also add in support for these things as well. And a quick tip for a 2-part process: if you add castor oil to your wrist, you can add a heating pad to increase that effectiveness. Castor oil accelerates circulation, accelerates reduction of inflammation. In addition to that, you can use red light therapy on your wrist. That will again reduce inflammation, increase bioelectrical flow as well. So with all these different tools, there's no need for surgery if you go to the core cause. The surgery itself, from my experience, can create issues. If you break a bone, if you cut a nerve, you create scar tissue, which will itself block the carpal tunnel. Avoid all of those things and just heal it naturally, because the body is our greatest healer. The body wisdom knows more than anything I could ever know. So therefore, focusing with Tong Ren, reducing inflammation, focusing directly on the carpal tunnel causes, you can actually work to reverse this condition of carpal tunnel syndrome. Thanks for tuning in. What inspired you most today? Did something spark your curiosity or make you see things in a new light? Did you get a new perspective? This is your chance to take the first step or go even deeper into your own Tong Ren practice and your journey to a better health and services for others. We'd love to hear from you. Share your thoughts, your aha moments, or even your own healing stories. Do you have any questions? Well, then reach out to our amazing community where you'll find support, answers, and connection. Don't forget, we got a bunch of great resources to help you grow. We have online courses, webinars, interviews, live workshops, and so much more. Together, we're building a movement of healing and transformation, and we're thrilled to have you as a part of it. Stay tuned for our next episode of Tap Into Tong Ren, where we'll bring you even more stories, insights, and tools to empower and uplift your own health journey. Keep exploring, keep questioning, and most of all, keep growing and sharing. Let's make incredible things happen together. See you next time.